Hi there guys, I'm Ed. I'm here to teach yoga for a half hour. So let's begin and sit on our mats. So let's just come to cross-legged seat on our mat, any way you want. Left leg in front, right leg in front, whatever is comfortable to you. And let's wiggle the hip bones on the mat to make ourselves nice and comfortable. Let's put our hands whatever way you want. The way I will put them is my palms facing up, just in an acceptance gesture in the room. So let's close our eyes and just focus on your breath. Don't change it, just observe it. And think to yourself in the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, the mindfulness guru, Vietnamese monk, in his words. Just think to yourself, on the inhale, I arrive. On the exhale, I arrive. On the inhale, I arrive. On the exhale, I arrive. Let's bring a count into our breath now. So we're going to inhale for 4, exhale for 6, and hold for 2. In an effort to expel the staler air from our lungs, as in because the exhale is longer than the inhale. So let's exhale all our air and inhale for 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold 1, 2. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 2, 1, 2. Last round. Inhale for 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Let's pick a point on the ground below us. Blink slowly, our eyes open. Let's bring our wrists, our hands in front of us, palms to touch. Let's interlace the fingers. Let's roll the wrists one way, with the right hand leading the push, if you like, and then roll it the same way, but with the left hand leading the push, if you like. And try it again. The right hand is leading. Oh, it's going one way, and then the left hand is leading. And it's actually the exact same way. Left pushing, right pushing. Okay. So let's bring our right hand to our sternum, our breastbone, and our left hand to the base of our spine. And let's turn to the left slowly. The head, neck, and shoulders are the last to turn. And pick a point furthest in the turn that you can look at, and that will help you come into the turn a little piece further. Engage your abdomen so you're not slouching into it. You're sitting up nice and tall. And let's bring the gaze back around to the front, and the shoulders will follow. Take that comfortable seat, reassert that comfortable seat. And so let's swap the hands over. So the left hand to the sternum, to the chest bone, the right hand, the palms facing the body, the right hand to the base of the spine. And let's turn from the lower spine, middle spine, upper spine, head, neck and shoulders. Gaze out at that point furthest in the turn, because it will help you further turn into the turn. And then engage those muscles in the core, in the abdomen, which will help you stay upright in the turn. And let's just stay here for another 1, 2. Okay, and slowly relax out of the turn and come back into a seated upright position. Let's come onto our hands and knees. So let's roll over one knee. Use that core strength to push you up. Let's reset ourselves back on the mat with our hands at the front of the mat. Index finger pointing directly away from the body, and all the other fingers can just settle in there as you like. So let's roll back and forward on our wrists, just to get that neutral position in our hands. So let's roll around the hands one way clockwise, and let's roll back around the hands the opposite way, anti-clockwise. And let's position our knees a little bit at hip distance. Everyone's body is different. At hip distance, your own hip distance, wherever width your hips are, let's get those knees directly underneath those hip bones. And we're going to do what's called some cat-cow, just to warm up the spine. So on the exhale, we push up into cow. And on our inhale, we roll through and gaze forward or upwards, depends on your body type. Regulate that neck and shoulders just to get comfortable in that position. And we're gazing up, and then we're exhaling, and the spine rolls all the way back on itself. And inhale, let's roll through, and exhale, and inhale. And so we're slowly warming up the spine. Okay, and so let's come back to neutral. Let's tuck our hands, let's tuck our toes, and let's push back with the hips leading the way, rolling up over our toes. And let's just elevate those knees off the ground for about 10 seconds here, just to feel that push, that core, that strength in the core, just turn on. Knees are about 2 inches off the mat, and we have our shoulders up directly over our wrists, and we're holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now let's dip those knees and push the hips closest to the heels, and then push our hips all the way up in the air into what's called downward dog. And let's step our feet out a little piece further on the mat, and just wiggle your ankles, come up on the tippy toes of one foot and then the tippy toes of another foot, and you can feel that nice stretch in the calf of the right leg, and come up onto the tippy toes of the right foot, and you can feel that nice stretch in the calf of the left leg. Let's just do that one more time. The calf of the right leg, we're up on the front of the toes of the left foot, and we're pushing out with our hands into that right calf, and we can feel that stretch. And then again on the other side, pushing with our hands nice and hard, feel that stretch in the left calf. And let's come back into neutral. And then we're going to come up onto our fingertips, and we're going to walk our hands slowly in, 1 foot at a time, the length of 1 foot each time. And then you'll feel that nice stretch in the hips. And when you can't go any further, you bend the knees a little bit and bring that left foot to near the front of your mat and that right foot beside it. And let's bang our hands down over the body. We have a deep stretch in the hips here. And your hands might come to your shins. They might come down to your toes. You know, we're only starting the class, so, you know, we don't have that full stretch just yet. So wherever you are, let's just hang out here for a moment, and we're feeling the stretch where the spine meets the hips, and that's where we're feeling the stretch. You might feel a stretch in the legs also. Let's just stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's bend that right knee, and let's turn around to the left, and bend that left knee and turn around to the right, and just go in half circles around the front of your mat. And again, we're just warming up those hips. Let's come back to neutral, and let's bring our hands to touch at the front of the body. And let's roll up slowly to a stand, but we're keeping a bend in the knees, and we're rolling up from the hips, one vertebra at a time, until you come up pretty much vertical to standing. Let's roll those shoulders up and around themselves, and let's bring our arms up and overhead. Palms to touch above our head, and let's gaze up at those hands. And again, turn on your core, feel your core muscles help you in doing this vertical stretch. And bring the hands down to heart center. Let's just close our eyes for a moment. Let's cast our mind back to the start. We've warmed up a little, and we just have the energy flowing in the body. We can possibly feel the heart rate go a little faster, until we can observe the breath a little bit better. And just think to yourself, on the inhale, I have arrived, and on the exhale, I have arrived. And so because you've combined the mindfulness of picking out hand with a little bit of yoga, you're nearly in the moment. And so we blink open our eyes at the point below us, and we drop our hands beside our body, and we wave our arms up and overhead. And then we bring our hands down through heart center. We bend at the knees. We bring our hands to the front of our mat, and we step one foot back, and then we step the other foot back, and we're in down dog, and we're going to roll forward to what's called plank. The shoulders should be directly above the wrists. An easier way to do this, and the first one we'll do, is let's come onto our knees, and let's bend at those elbows, the elbows pointing up towards the ceiling, not at each other, but up towards the front of the room at the moment. And we're going to bend them back, and the closer that they are into the body, the more strength you will have. And let's come down slowly until we're lying on the mat. And let's replace the hands by touching our shoulders. Replace the hands directly underneath the shoulders. And let's push up into what's called Cobra. So the feet at the back of the mat, they don't just hang out there, they push into the back of the mat, and they help us to lift up that little bit further. And in this first Cobra, we don't want to come up too far. Wherever you are, stay there. And you should actually be able to lift your hands off the mat. Because you're not using your arms here. All you're using is your core strength, and your legs planted firmly into the back of that mat. And so let's lift our hands up off the mat and stay here for 3, 2, 1. And touch our shoulders with our hands. Plant our hands firmly into the mat. Let's tuck our toes at the back of the mat. And because this is our first round, let's push back up onto our knees and get our tailbone as close to our heels as we possibly can. good grip with the hands, index fingers pointing directly
powering off,
away from the body. And let's push up by lifting those knees a tiny piece like we did in the first round and bending at the hips, and we're coming back into our down dog. Let's come up onto our fingertips and set the right foot forward as close as to the between our hands as possible, and step the right foot out as far away as the left as you need to. And we're going to come up into warrior one here. So the wider you have your right foot away from your left foot, the easier it will be to balance here. So let's scrape our hands off the front of our mat and bring our arms up vertical away from the body. And let's just gaze at that point out over in the horizon above our eye level. And that will help us balance and take a decent bend into that right knee. And have the knee no further forward than the ankle. Palms facing up and gazing out at the horizon on the point a little bit above the eye level. And let's bring our hands down through heart center. Plant our hands at the front of our mat. Let's push into our hands and our left foot, so much so that we can lift the right foot up off the mat. Whatever way you want to get it back to your left foot, please see fit. And let's roll forward. And this time, let's roll forward to plank. And again, you can come onto your knees if you want to. If you want to go a little bit further, let's have those shoulders. Check if your shoulders are directly above your wrists. And let's roll forward over the toes. Bend at the elbows close, tight into the body. And let's come down about halfway. And you can push up into Cobra like we did before, or you can roll over the toes and push up into up dog. And the head, neck and shoulders are last to lift. And we're gazing at a point above us. And let's push back and roll back over the toes. And we're in down dog again. Let's set those feet out a little piece wider. Whatever width you need to have to make it comfortable for yourselves. Let's come up onto our fingertips. And let's set the left foot forward to between the hands. And wiggle it with your own strength to whatever position you find comfortable. Let's set that right foot out to get the width between the two legs, which is going to help us to balance when we come up into warrior one on the other side. Let's step that right foot out so it's in a line away from the body, and that's going to help us, perpendicular line away from the body, and that's going to help us balance here. And let's get those hands off the front of the mat. And the strength here is coming from the back leg and the core. And so we're coming up into warrior one on this other side, and readjust your feet in whatever way you need to, just to get that comfortable position. Our palms face up. We're gazing out at a point a little bit above our eye level on the horizon. Our front left knee. Let's take a look at that. We want it directly above the ankle. And let's stay here for 3, 2, 1. Bring your hands down through heart center. Place them at the front of the mat. Let's lean into our hands and push also our weight into our right foot, so much so that we can lift that left foot and step it back into down dog. And let's come forward into plank. And let's come onto your knees and roll forward over your toes. Bend those elbows tight into the body. Come halfway down. And let's come down to lying completely on the front of our mat. And let's take one hand out in front of us. And let's take the other hand out in front of us, so we have a pillow with our hands. forehead down onto the mat, onto our hands. And let's just hang it here for a moment and just relax those shoulders and the feet and anything else that you might be tensing. And just take a breath and think to yourself, on the inhale, I arrive. On the exhale, I arrive. On the inhale, I arrive. On the exhale, I arrive. Okay, let's put those hands directly underneath the shoulders. Let's push up onto our knees. And let's come to placing our left sit bone down onto the mat, which will enable us to swing around to face the front of our mat. And let's come into an asana, a position, a pose here called cosmic egg. So our hands can hold onto the front of our shins. Let's walk our feet back towards the body, as close in to our heels, as close into our tailbone as we can get them without falling backwards. And then let's just grab onto our heels with our hands, or if you have long arms, you can wrap your arms around your legs, and you might get hold of the opposite elbow. And we're going to come, we're just going to come backwards and backwards and backwards until we're on our tippy toes and our feet might lift. And this is called cosmic egg. And if you wiggle in and out of it, that's okay. But just try and get your own balance. And we're both on our tippy toes, and it's your core strength that might help you here. You might touch the ground, you might not touch the ground, and you might be perfectly balancing. And your inhale and your exhale affect this asana quite a lot, because it's your lungs that you're squashing. You still need to breathe. And on the inhale, I arrive. And on the exhale, I arrive. You might close your eyes. You might gaze at a point out in front of you. You might touch the ground. You might be perfectly balanced. Everybody's different. So again, this asana is called cosmic egg. It's quite a neat little posture, quite a simple one for some, quite a very difficult one for others. Okay, and let's come out of that. And let's release the grip that we have on our hands. Let's bring the legs out in front of us. Whatever grip you had onto your legs there, your wrists might feel that. So again, like the first warm-up exercise that we did, let's wiggle those fingers, clasp the wrists and roll them one way, with the right hand pushing maybe, and then the other way with the left hand pushing. And it's all the same. And give your hands a little shake out. Okay, so what we're going to come into here now is seated forward fold. So again, what we're doing here is we're just going to stretch out the spine a little piece. So you might make fists with your hands, not with your thumbs inside your hands, but with them outside. Make a fist with your hands and lift yourself up off the mat and get yourself sitting down nice and comfortably. And we're going to, on an inhale, sit up tall and straight, and on an exhale, we're going to lean forward, and we're going to hang, our hands are going to rest on our shins. They might come to touch the toes. If you have gotten to reach your toes, great. If you haven't, no bother. If you have reached your toes, you're nearly reaching your toes, take a little bend in your knees. Take your peace fingers, wrap them around the big toes, and use that as a fulcrum point whereby you can grab on and you can help yourself get further, deeper into this pose. You might unbend your legs down, drop your head, and just feel this nice stretch in the lower spine. And we're just going to stay here, close your eyes, the head might drop. That might enable you to feel the stretch a little bit further, but it's the lower spine is what we're trying to stretch here. The head, neck and shoulders can relax and come into this also. And then let go with the peace fingers or wherever you have grip on your shins. Let go and slowly roll up one vertebra at a time until you're in sitting. And let's set the right foot back towards our sit bone and the left foot. Help it along with your hands. And we're going to work on the abdominals here. And so we're going to come into an asana called boat, and maybe make fists with your hands, thumbs not inside the fist. Lift your sit bones above the mat so you can sit comfortably. Let's grab onto the legs, below the thighs, and again, let's walk the feet forward. So from the cosmic egg, we kind of have this balance. We've been thinking about this balance thing. So again, we're up on our toes. Our legs are not splaying out. They're close in tight to the body. And then let's see if we can lift those legs up to about a 45-degree angle. And don't have your feet all flailing here at the front. Energize those feet, and that will help you get this position a little bit better. You might stay here. You might take your hands off your legs. You might point them out in the same angle as your feet. And let's stay here for 5, 4. You feel your core doing a lot of work here. 3, 2, 1. And slowly bring those feet down. And you might wrap one elbow around one knee and the other elbow around the other. You might clasp your hands. And let's sit forward into this and roll out that lower spine. Okay, and so let's come out of that. Let's put the feet out flat on the mat. And we're going to come down to lying flat on our back here. Have a look behind you. Have you got the full length of your mat or the blanket or whatever you're practicing on there? Let's bring our hands out in front of the body and let's roll down one vertebra at a time. Try and get first the tailbone to reach the mat first, and the next vertebra, and the next, and the next, and the next, until we're lying flat on our back. And we're going to come into a position here called happy baby. So let's bring the right leg in to whereby we can grab onto either the shin or onto the outside of the foot. You might again go peace fingers around the big toe, and that's one leg. And then let's bring that other leg up, similar to both. And again, the peace fingers can wrap around the other toe. We're going to come to lying flat. Our head, neck, and shoulders should be on the ground here. And let's push one leg up as far as it will go, and bring it back down, and push the other leg up as far as it will go, and bring it back down, and push both legs up as far as they will go, and then bring them both out away from the body. And feel that nice stretch in the thighs and the hips. Push into your peace fingers, and that grasp there and your legs going out to the side will help you get that nice stretch better in the thighs and the hips. Let's say here for 7, 6, feeling that nice stretch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and relax with pushing the feet out into the hands and bring the feet into the middle of the body and release your grip. And let's put both feet down on the mat and bring one foot out directly, fully extended away from the body, and the second foot the same. And we're going to come into our final pose here called Shavasana. And so let's roll on the mat and make ourselves comfortable, and let's bring that left leg out perpendicular away from the body, just as whatever width the legs are spread out, whatever width your hips will allow. So don't over extend your legs, but don't have them too straight either. Let's bring it out to whatever is your comfortable position and make ourselves comfortable on the mat. And let's have our hands again facing out away from the body. You can have the palms facing up or facing down as you like. And let's just lie here for a moment. Let's take our right hand and let's bring our right hand up and place it on our heart. And after the exercise that we've done, you can probably feel your heartbeat. And your left hand, let's bring that to our abdomen. And then we'll be able to feel our heartbeat and our lungs breathe. And let's relax our left leg, foot and toes, our right leg, foot and toes, our hips. Relax your pelvis, your abdomen, your chest, your back, lower, middle, upper. Relax your shoulders, your left arm and hand and fingers, your right arm and hand and fingers. Relax your neck, cheeks, temples, and soften the corner of your eyes, our forehead, and bring your internal gaze to the point between your eyebrows. And what can you see there? And take a deep breath. And take another deep breath through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. And 2 more like that, deep breath through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Last one, inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And let's release our hands with our fingers. Let's bring our feet to be flat on the mat. Let's roll over onto our right hand side using our bicep as a pillow. Bending our knees. And take a moment here. And plant your left hand firmly into the mat. Use that to help you push you back up, straightening your leg. come back around to your comfortable seated cross-legged position. And take a moment and bring your hands to your palms, face each other, and touch your heart center. With your knuckles of your thumb at your chest bone. Bring them to your lips and bring them to the space between your eyebrows. And blink your eyes open at a point in front of you on the ground. And thank yourselves for coming to your yoga practice today. Namaste.